Just like the other question, it's illogical, and I've heard you speak about it because I'm not being solicitous, but you're always straight up about what you're doing. And the question is whether or not we should be in a position where you why can't the experts say we know that this virus is in fact is going to be, or excuse me, we know why all the drugs approved are not temporarily approved, but permanently approved. Yeah. That's underway, too. I expect that to occur quickly.
Well, that means you mean for the FDA?
For the FDA. Yeah.
Welcome back to the Clay Travis and Buck Sexton Show. This is Buck, and there you heard the current commander-in-chief, the leader of the free world, Joe Biden, once again from last night's town hall, and CNN anchor Don Lemon. Oh, yes, of course, helping out a note of clarification. Clay, we have obviously open line Friday tomorrow, but is Throwdown Thursday a thing? Because if it is, I think we have somebody who wants to throw down with us, with you, I don't know, a little bit.
Yeah, evidently I have provoked a massive uprising of senior citizens who are angry, furious at my suggestion that if we have an age limit on the low end of 35 years old, can't be elected president until you're at least 35 years old. My idea is we should have an age limit on the upper end. Give us like 30 or 40 years, whatever the math you want to have, 35 to 70, 35 to 65, where you're eligible to be elected president. There's a lot of people that would fill that category.
I think it's got to be 8. Do you think it's 8? I think 80 would be that's
35 to 80.
I think that's a fair I think because a lot of folks in their 70s would beat us in a 10K right now. I mean, certainly beat me. I can't speak for you.
I think, again, I don't think we should have an age limit, right? If you're going to say you have to be at least 35, if the most brilliant political mind out there is 32 and they can get elected president of the United States, if I had to choose upper age limit or lower age limit, I would go upper age limit over lower age limit. And evidently, there are people that just want to wipe me out. Should we take Frank's call? He's furious.
I leave it to you, my good man.
Yeah. Frank, do you want to just decapitate me?
Yeah, well, no, I don't want to decapitate you.
We're all friends.
Well, sir, I really must protest.
Yes. So what do you think? Do you like let's start here, Frank. Do you like the lower age limit? Like, do you think 35 years old should exist or not?
I think 35 years old is fine.
But so why?
With that.
What if the greatest presidential candidate of all time is ready to win at 32 or 34 and he or she can't get elected? It's the greatest Republican candidate ever, and that person is 34 and they can't get elected, and as a result, a Democrat gets elected. Like, I don't love age limits on the lower end, but when you just heard Joe Biden there, like, the idea that he could run at 82 is crazy to me.
Well, that makes sense. Okay, you could go a little younger. You could go to maybe 30 even, yeah? But the point of it is, Joe Biden is a poor example because, we're living in the twilight zone here with these Dems today. I mean, come on.
I agree there.
Parallel universe.
I would argue, Frank, I don't think I'm not arguing with you, but I would make the argument that the bigger problem with Joe Biden is actually not his age and fogginess. He's just not very bright. And this has been known all throughout. So he wasn't bright when he was 30. He wasn't bright when he was 50. So I think that's 100%. I think that's the big issue.
You won't get a disagreement there either. No.
Frank, what do you think? Like, imagine that they try. How old are you, Frank?
I'm 74 and I run 2 businesses, okay? I have an entertainment business. And I'm a full-time insurance agent.
Frank is ready to arm wrestle you, Clay. He's ready to go over the top.
I think he might beat me in an arm wrestling fight. But here's the question, though, Frank. Does it not make you scared that Joe Biden at 82 years old could get dragged over the finish line one more time by the Democratic Party? We already know how much he's struggling. I think it's clear with cognition at 78. And can you only imagine after 4 years of the stress of being president that by 82 he might be president till he's 86 if he won? I mean, this is unbelievable to me.
Well, they'll never run him again. He's not going to run again. He can't. He's done. He's done.
I'm afraid they might run him again.
Frank, thank you so much for calling in, man. We appreciate it. Thanks for being a good sport. We just wanted to see Somebody was taking issue there. So what we really need is a Democrat to call in who's really mad. So let me say that the left has shown their cowardice on Cuba in a way that is irretrievable. Critical race theory is Marxist poison for the minds of all who are indoctrinated with it. How else can we say? The Green New Deal is a religion, and it is for people who are insane and lack meaning in their lives. What else do we need to throw in the mix here? We need angry libs for Throwdown Thursday. Because, see, our people are all too kind and wise and decent and
reasonable, right? I mean, I feel like really the political universe has become, and I keep saying this because I think it's true, between the sane and insane, right? And I feel like Republicans are squarely on the side of sane. And I want to play in the second hour here, Buck. We've got a big, Joy Behar was going after Rand Paul. And some of the attacks that Republicans have to deal with right now are so transparently false and just flat out lies that I want to play the cuts for you. We had Rand Paul on yesterday. If you didn't hear it, I encourage you to go check it out. We're going to play a 2-minute cut of that in the next hour. And by the way, the best argument, I think, against age limits at the top end, Buck, if you want to argue against me, would be Ronald Reagan, right? Because Ronald Reagan in 1980, look up the exact age that Reagan was in 80. Was he 70? He was the oldest elected president in 80, I believe.
And just remember that all the Democrats who are now pretending that they have no issue with Biden, they regularly refer to and mock what they view as they refer to Reagan as having Alzheimer's, dementia,
all the time.
Senility.
That was Saturday Night Live staple when Reagan was president, was that he was unable and that he had dementia and that he was.
And I always make this point too. I'm much more. I make fun of Biden for being honestly just a sub-mediocrity, not being a very bright guy. The age thing, we're all going there. So, but we also do have to look at what the political realities are of what Democrats were saying under Trump and what they are saying now. But you mentioned, reality, Clay, insane versus sane. I feel like we all understand the very basics of inflation, right? How does inflation, you've got the value of dollars going down, too many dollars in circulation chasing goods, right? So it's too much money out there, and so money becomes worth less. It's an issue of supply and demand. And so Joe Biden somehow thinks that if they spend a whole lot more money, or actually just if he repeats something 3 times, it will make it true.
Look, here's the deal. Moody's today, when a Wall Street firm, not some liberal think tank, said if we pass the other 2 things I'm trying to get done, we will in fact reduce inflation, because we're going to be providing good opportunities and jobs for people who in fact are going to be reinvesting that money back in all the things we're talking about, driving down prices, not raising prices.
Reduce inflation, he says 3 times, like a robot that has a microchip that malfunctioned. It's not, no serious person thinks their $3.5 trillion budget is going to reduce inflation. A decrease in the price of the purchasing power, rather, of money and the increase in the price of goods. This is a reality that they can try to get away from, but it is right now creeping up on us.
It's childlike, Buck. It reminds me of when I was a kid and there would be stories on the television about the national debt. And I remember, and probably a lot of you do, you've answered these questions for your kids, your grandkids, you may have had them yourself. If the government prints money, how can they ever run a deficit? Can't they just print more money? Because that's the way kids think. That is the Democratic economic policy right now. It is a childlike, fundamental misunderstanding of how business works. And this is crazy. There used to be Democrats who were business owners and understood basic business. They have lost all control of their party. And I think they have to be sitting on the sidelines just throwing up their hands over this insanity.
That childlike understanding of money, by the way, is now reflected in the underlying economic philosophy of some of the most powerful Democrats in the country. They've given it this fancy name of modern monetary theory, MMT they call it for short.
Yes.
Which is the argument that a government should print whatever fiat currency it wants to cover whatever needs it has, and there's no pressure in the financing of it. So effectively, no financial constraints. Print whatever you need to print and deal with the consequences. This is the money tree fallacy. This is, we make it up so we can make up as much of it as we want, and we just keep putting it out there. And try to disconnect economic reality from what's actually happening around us. But, this is, Clay, we'll come back into this and also the wonderful Rand Paul interview from yesterday and Joy Behar versus Rand Paul. We'll kind of make that happen here on the air. We were just talking about inflation because it's real and it's happening right now. $6 trillion spent last year by the government. Trillions more intended to be spent, not just by the regular budgetary process, but an additional budgetary process this year. We're going to be at 30 trillion before you know it. Inflation is already here and it's going up. Don't listen to Biden.